you are all immediately greeted by just an incredible monastery and temple that's in front of you. Upon arrival, the party is greeted by the sounds of music and festivity. The air is filled with the sweet scent of street foods, and children can be heard playing through the trees. Amarna is vivid and bright. The very earth releases an energy that rivals the Feywilds. It is rumored that all along Amarna, the actual border to the plane of the Feywilds is very thin, and some of that energy has been transposed into this very rich land. And as you take in the scenery, you are approached by an older elf with silver hair. It's pulled back into a ponytail, held in place with an ornate clip. His face shows a long life of experience, but his calm demeanor and earnest eyes radiate leadership. It's easy to see why Amarna looked to him for leadership. You can only guess that this is Shaul. He approaches all of you and does a deep bow. And he says, "Greetings, Xyperium. Welcome to the forests of Amarna."
Lionel, is this your brother?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. Hi. Nice to meet you. We're the security detail, I guess. Where do you need us?
And he says, "Come, let me show you around."
Even better.
So as he says that, he walks throughout the festival. Or just a very simple, I like the nature roll of 12. That's good.
Yeah, I'm setting up a tree tap on this.
Nice.
Alright.
And now I'm leaving.
Gotcha. So as he walks you through, you see a lot of the people here that are within the stalls and kiosks that are set up. They are kind of the older population. You see some kids kind of around. And Shaul says,
Hey.
yes.
Not to... I am actually going to do a...
Yeah.
I am going to make a roll.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Perception or investigation. It is going to be a meddling kids roll. I am looking for troublemakers. Can I?
Yeah.
Would you like me to roll perception or
Perception.
investigation or what?
Perception.
Okay. Cool. This is my perception roll.
Ooh.
And well,
that's a critical
is gonna
miss.
Be a 6.
Well,
that's a critical fail.
Yep, critical fail.
Into a wall.
You are standing in between 3 meddling kids, like everybody else in your party.
Yep.
And you can't see any of us.
There you go. you can't really, like, between like everything else that's going around you, you're just kind of you're still getting used to the party and the fact that there is a talking sword who is like every so often mumbling. You can't hear what the sword's saying, but it's mumbling every now and then, just saying stuff underneath its breath.
Eluna
Everything
also notices that Lionel is looking around and does not trust Lionel enough to
Oh, no.
not do her own perception roll.
Gotcha.
So.
Fair enough. So while the kids are literally pantsing me and I don't notice, you can
Nothing yet. No kids roll. Bloody, you know what? That's a good roll. So you're looking around, so you're kind of surveying. The majority of the kids and you can hear the sound of children kind of playing around. You hear, kind of, where are they? I have them somewhere. Boop doop boop. Hold on. Sorry. Kind of around here, where there's a waterfall. You see a kid who's like kind of stomping around and stuff like that. And he seems energetic. He's kind of the only kid that's really playing. Everyone else, like I said, although I will say, you actually do hear something from like this area, somewhere around here, about you hear some children playing over there. But like I said before, this is all kind of like, all of the stalls are filled with kind of like traditional Amarnan food, and like also kind of very simple gifts and toys and stuff like that. you see some sections that are just related to like poetry and stuff like that. Some like poetry stalls. Shaul actually says, as you are looking around, he says the carnival, or he says the Festival of Monsters is about a 10-minute walk west, and he says the majority of everyone else will be at that festival. And he says we reserve this for the we reserve this part of the festival for the elderly and the heads of houses, those who prefer to celebrate this night with tradition.
Eluna is
So we're at the
paying
boring
close
party.
attention.
Yeah,
But-
this is like the NIMBY festival.
Sorry.
Eluna's paying close attention to the dude, but is also has her eye on that kid playing at the waterfall.
just like
Mhm.
just keeping eyes.
She's very detail oriented. Okay, she just wants to get this
Yeah.
mission done.
Shaul speaks up and he says, "The Evergreen Festival is a big day for us. I assume Jura filled you in on the details of tonight."
Yes. There's definitely not an ashmonger, and we're supposed to look around for it. Got it.
He laughs, he chuckles, and he says, "Ashmonger, the name isn't used much outside of this day. We lost many due to his ravaging of our land, and I was just a young man when he sprouted out of thin air. After Xyperium banished him, it was a hard recovery for our kingdom." He says, "The smoke clung to us for weeks, and we got used to walking on paths of ash." And he says, "The recent fires that were started happened in the forest, a short walk away from where we are. If you would like, we could take a walk over to where it happened."
Sure, I do kind of feel like a jerk though now, so
Yeah, yeah, Lionel elbows Fenn like in the ribs lightly, and is like, so be cool about it.
Don't say the F word.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, are you guys gonna accept his?
Yeah, I'll follow.
Cool.
At least.
The best part of security detail is that you don't have to look for danger. It comes to you.
That's not. That's.
I feel like we should also look though.
We generally, well.
Or we can look as well. I
Mhm.
don't have other plans.
Okay, so I don't have a scene for this, but kind of off to the east, you guys walk into the forest. And they're dense. I mean, as you walk through, just the amount of like wildlife and
Walk to the west.
and nature that surrounds you is kind of astonishing. It reminds you of if anyone's ever been to the Feywild, it reminds you of that. Bloody, because you are a druid, you kind of feel the power and the mysticism of this place. And after walking for about 10 minutes, in the thicket of the trees, there's a sudden clearing, and at the center of it lies a pile of ash and soot. He says, "There was a great tree," Shaul says, "There was a great tree that once stood here. It survived the initial attacks by Ashmonger centuries ago and stood to represent the resilience of Amarna. We did our best to search the area for any hints of what happened, but found nothing. Maybe you will fare better." Eyebrow wiggle.
Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna make another investigation
Yep.
roll, or another. This would be investigation,
Yes.
not perception. I'm
Yep.
assuming. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I fare any better this time.
What you got?
Not great. It's an 8.
Okay, so you guys can do any manner of rolls here, from like Arcana to Nature to
Yeah.
just standard Perception. I mean, if there's something specific you guys want to know,
Oh.
feel free to roll.
Well, I should have done a history roll. Actually, is what I really should have done, but that's fine.
Ooh,
Nice.
Good job, man.
There are all
Wow.
these purple things on the floor. I am investigating the purple things on the floor. I'll go stand on one.
Purple.
I think they're women in dresses.
Is it women?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are ladies in dress.
This?
Fenn is
Yeah.
investigating all the ladies.
Magnifying
I am investigating all the
glass.
ladies. I was positive they were like dropped journals. I've been playing too much Animal Crossing.
Magnifying glass, just like, what are you?
I should zoom in, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, zoom in. There's plenty of detail on this map. It's huge. There's a
Mhm.
lot of detail. With all these maps, I will say all these maps are from Xyperium. They are amazing. They make some of the best D&D maps I've ever seen.
Gorgeous.
And like zooming in, you can really see how much detail is put into their work. So let's just say,
Well, I rolled a 23, so tell me something cool about the lady.
You really want to know about the lady?
I mean, I already asked what I wanted to roll for.
That's
so...
true. Well, because keep in mind, you were taken off screen to a clearing where
Right.
there's
Right.
you're investigating the burned down tree.
The ash clearing.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to look around and see if there's any evidence that anyone but us were here recently.
You find a bunch of ladies in purple dresses. Congratulations.
Hell yeah. I found the party.
So you look around, and you see that there are no footprints that are in the earth. Everything that happened, and as you step forward and investigate the ash itself, oddly so, you notice that the ash itself is still just a little bit warm, which is odd. And not only that, but as you scan the perimeter of this ash pile where this tree once stood, you find nothing. I mean, nobody like walked towards it. Nothing along those lines.
Eluna walks over to the ash and kneels down by it and casts Druidcraft twice.
Ooh.
Once to puff of wind the ash a little bit away, and then another to sprout a tiny little new tree.
Aw. So you cast Druidcraft and you blow some of the ash away. And you notice that even as you kind of throw the ash away, you notice that the ashes itself kind of go deep into the earth. This fire also seemed to burn its roots as well. And oddly, when you cast Druidcraft to sprout new life, you find that nothing happens. If you want, you can do a nature roll. I'll say you're at advantage for this.
Cool.
Okay, 19. Cool. So even as you bend down and you look at the ashes, so a big part of let me place one of these. Sorry. Shoop doop boop boop. Boop doop. Like this. Good. So even, I mean, a huge part of being a druid is fire. There are entire circles of druidcraft that revolve around fire and the rebirth that comes with it. You know that a part of being a druid is burning things down so that new life can grow. This isn't that. The ashes themselves, and as you kind of look at what's in the ground, it's soiled. It's this weird, odd energy that's kind of repulsing your druidic senses. So this is not natural. It's not natural fire, I should say.
Eluna grimaces and looks to the others, trying to get their attention, and lets them know that there is something very weird about this ash pile.
Can I pick up some of the ash?
Yes. Feel free.
I would like to taste it.
Ooh, okay. It tastes like... Let me see what this... Okay. I didn't prepare what it tastes like. It tastes...
How
like
dare you?
chocolate.
How could you not have known?
Yeah. Fuck me. Okay, so it tastes...
I thought you played with this character for like 4 sessions
that's a
or
good
something
point.
already, Alex.
Yeah.
Taste
Yeah.
wasn't something
You
that
should
came
figure
up
out
that
what everything
much.
tastes like.
Yeah. You look at the ash and you taste it a little bit, and it does taste a bit sulfuric, is how I would describe it. Bitter. It kind of stings your mouth a little bit.
Bitter compared to normal ash? Or
Yes, even more bitter.
more bitter than normal
Yeah.
ash. Something sulfuric about this, perhaps? Perhaps a natural occurrence? Or perhaps some creature?
I don't think there's anything natural
There you
about this
go.
ash.
There you go. go. I was gonna say it. Shaul walks up behind you and he says, anything you could gather?
Can I roll insight?
Ash...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You were going to
Eluna.
answer him.
Oh, okay. We noticed that this ash is not regular ash. There's something weird and unnatural about it. And also, apparently, it tastes sulfuric.
He says, let me guess. You tried to do, and he notices that you're a druid. And he says, your druid magic didn't work, did it?
No.
And
It
he does.
is kind of disturbing.
Yeah,
me.
he frowns, and he says, when Ashmonger attacked centuries ago, his magic and the fires that he churned were incredibly evil. So much so that the druids from Xyperium couldn't even grow the trees back. Instead, it took a great purging. They had to dispel large amounts of evil before they could even attempt to regrow. And he does seem a bit more concerned after you've told him this.
I'd like to roll insight
Yes.
on Shaul. I got a 19, and I would love to know if it seems like there's anything else that he might know about this situation that could be relevant, if we're getting the whole truth.
He is hiding something. You get the sense that he's not telling you something about the tree.
Can I roll persuasion to try to get him to tell me?
Yeah.
Shaul, it really seems like there's something you're not telling us here, and I just think if we all work together, we could really fix this situation.
And he says, okay, and he says, it's small. Quite literally. And he says, they call themselves a gang. They call themselves the Mice, actually. A bunch of children who run around. This tree was their home base of sorts. And he says they were known to sleep in this tree, string up hammocks, things of the like. And he says, my adopted daughter is among this gang.
And where are they now that their tree has been burnt down?
And he laughs and he says, probably terrorizing the festival.
Do you think they were
I-
involved with the burning of the tree?
Do you want us to stop them from terrorizing the festival?
And he says, no, do not worry. He says, my Iridia is far too, he says, she's the best of them. There's no way that she would let too much havoc be brought about. And he says, but I specifically told the person at the gates of the festival to watch out for the mice. They tend to play pranks. And he says, one of the reasons I doubt this was them, and I truly don't want them to be involved in this, is merely because they're good kids. They are troublemakers, especially the Stink. But they're all good kids.
You mean the children have an odor? Or one of them is named the Stink?
And he says, I have a feeling you will find that out soon enough.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
I want to put my hand reassuringly on his shoulder and tell him, don't worry, I was in gangs growing up, and then I started some afterwards. I turned out fine.
He says, true, you are Xyperium. In the distance, suddenly, you hear music start to play. And Shaul says, speaking of the festival, I think the doors have just opened. And he says, don't bore yourself much with the old traditional people around here. And he says, if you want, feel free to just go to the festival.
Before we go, I wanted to check on something really fast.
Yeah.
Do you all mind waiting a minute?
I want to learn about the traditions.
Sure.
Eluna runs off to that little waterfall kid.
Okay, cool. All right, so we'll take you back over here. Shoop. There is a little.
Luna, no, don't go chasing waterfalls.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
There is a little gnome child who is jumping back and forth between these rocks, and he's just kind of curiously looking at all the fishes.
Eluna hops on over to one of the rocks
Okay.
and kneels down towards the fish
Uh-huh.
and puts her hand out, like as if to just kind of, say hello to them a little bit.
One of the fish actually, you notice that it's kind of like a almost looks like a catfish, kind of. It actually swims up to your hand and nibbles a little bit on your fingertip. Doesn't hurt. It's just like kind of nibbling.
Cute. Yeah,
The kid,
that was the expected.
the gnome looks up at you and he's like, "Whoa, watch out!" And he says, "I heard Kneecap lost a finger with those things."
Kneecap. Who's that?
And he's like, "Whoa, you don't know Kneecap?" He says, "He's the toughest guy here."
No, sorry. By the way, also side note is like Eluna kind of still looks like a child,
Yeah.
so she fits in a bit.
Just hiding under that cloak. Yeah.
Mhm.
And he says, "Yeah, Kneecap's really strong. He kind of beats everyone up around here."
Oh, is he part of the mice?
And he says, "Oh, they don't like when you say the mice."
Oh, sorry.
And he says,
The rats?
he says, "I don't care. I'm not one of them." And he says, "They want to be called the rats, but they're not old enough. So the adults keep calling them the mice instead."
Understandable.
And they say,
What does this Kneecap look like?
and they say, "He's really strong." He says, "He's small, but he carries around a giant weapon all the time, and he hits people with it. He's the muscle of the mice.
Oh, wow.
So I better watch out."
Thank you for the heads up. I'll keep my eyes peeled for him.
And he says, "Oh, you don't have to watch out for him." He says,
Who do I have to watch out for?
he kind of like motions for you to get closer, and he just says, "The stink."
Oh, no.
And he says, "You have to watch out for the stink." And he says, he's like, "I finally stopped smelling like him."
Eluna sniffs around.
The air does kind of slightly smell like fart, just a little bit.
She casts. What is it? Is it
Yeah,
thaumaturgy that
yeah.
does the thing? Oh no, not thaumaturgy. I think it's just Druidcraft that can do the smells.
Yeah. Ooh, you're just making it. You're
She-
Febrezing.
Yeah, literally, she
Ooh,
Febrezes with
cool.
Druidcraft.
Nice.
Gotcha. The kid's like,
Well,
"Oh," and he's like, "That's way better than the stink."
I would imagine. Well, oh, by the way, do you happen to know anything about that burnt down tree out in the woods?
And he says, "That was the mice's hideout." And he says, "We weren't allowed over there." And he says,
How long ago did it burn down?
says, "Oh, it was about a week ago." And he says, "That was also, and he kind of stops saying stuff.
Can I do like an investigation roll or something to see if he continues?
You can try to get information out of him. So I would do a persuasion, personally.
It's still a little charisma, but I will try. Eluna's awkward, dude.
If you need help, we can
No.
Yeah, I can
start
hop
tearing
in.
limbs off or whatever. I'm good to join.
Nailed it. I guess in the process of just kind of being kneeled down and like
Yeah.
the fish are liking her, I guess she seems a bit friendly and,
Yeah.
and like chill to talk to.
So you pass the check, and then he actually says, "Okay, so you didn't hear from me, but I hear that Iridia got kicked out of the mice."
Hmm,
He says,
interesting.
"I don't know why, but people who are talking, they send Kneecap after him. Shush him up."
Okay. Well, thank you for the heads up. Your secret is safe with me.
He says, thanks for not, or thanks for helping me out. I kind of didn't want to smell like fart.
No worries. Have a nice day. Enjoy your fun.
He actually jumps down this section of the waterfall and goes downstream a little bit. Like, whee!
Swims away.
All right, so now what are y'all gonna do?
Wait, where's the rest of everybody? Oh, they're over here.
You zoop
So
back
Eluna-
around. Yep.
Yeah. Eluna regroups and she's like, I'm ready to go, but I did hear something a little interesting pertinent to our mission. And she says kind of quietly to like the party members, trying to not catch, what was the person's name?
Kneecap.
No, not Kneecap.
The snake.
The guy who's like guiding us.
Shaul.
Yeah, like almost as if trying to make sure Shaul doesn't hear it because she's conscious of like, his adopted child. And she's like, I hear this Kneecap is trouble. I hear this stink is really trouble. And then that kid was telling me that Raul, is that what it is?
Who specifically?
Wait, the person who's like guiding us.
Oh,
like, their adopted
Shaul.
child. Shaul. I know I said Raul. I heard Shaul's child got kicked out of the group, which might mean they were up to no good and didn't have anyone to watch them.
Well, definitely means one of those two are up to no good. Either they are or the rest of the group is.
Mm.
Should we head into the festival and see if we can get any more intel?
Can I do a
What-
quick investigation check before we go,
Cool.
just to
What
see
can
if
I
anyone's taken.
learn-
Oh, sorry.
What can I learn from the traditions that I'm seeing on
Ooh,
display in this
yeah.
more traditional
So you see,
area of the festival?
you actually see, kind of, where is it? Over here, there's an elderly-looking, Githyanki woman who's just kind of eating this very sticky-looking food out of this bowl. There's a nearby booth that sells it, and she's just kind of eating to herself. And she does seem a bit wise. You can see, especially like her being framed in front of this giant temple.
You seem wise. I am a scholar of many traditions, a traveler of foreign lands and domestic. A scholar, one might say, of the weapon and also the human soul. Tell me of your traditions here. What is it that is important to you?
And she holds out the bowl to you and she says, "Eat rot bean. It keeps me young and limber."
I try to eat
It
it.
is, so you hold it up to your mouth and it's gross. Like, it is this like tar, like sticky, stringy stuff that's in the bowl, and it just kind of reeks and it smells putrid.
We feed our young something quite like this.
That being said, you eat it, and it just tastes rather bland, actually. But after you are done eating, you notice that
Like oatmeal or something.
kinda, but after it's done, you notice that your mouth just reeks of it. And she says, "I eat
Is
that."
it alcoholic?
No, it's not that fermented. And she says, "I eat rot bean 3 times a day to stay young." It's like eating, I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will remember this.
Congratulations. You now have
Bow low to the ground.
she actually hands you the rest of the bowl and she says, "You can have it."
Excellent.
You now have
I
a bowl of rot bean. Congratulations.
I discreetly down the extra skin of beer that I have with me to wash my mouth out, and then fill it up with something like not quite as good at a stall. If there's anyone selling beer,
No one here.
Well, on the to-do list.
Everyone here is square and old. You want to do a last investigation check, May, correct?
No, I'm good. Let's go to the party.
Okay, cool. So you travel to the sound of the music, that you hear going or coming from the forest. And that being said, I will transition you right here.
Oh.
Give me more pixels. There we go.
All right, you can all put your guys over here by the entrance, by this dragon head.
Wow. I am
This is-
immediately overwhelmed by this. This feels like very cool to me as a dragonborn.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. As a
Sure.
red dragon. Oh, that's a really
funny.
good point. So as you approach the outside, you actually see there is an elder-looking human. I'm gonna put the music down just a little bit. An elder-looking human who is standing in front of. Give me a second. Find this. Thought I had this saved. I did.
Who is this large friend?
There are many large friends.
Oh, Chris.
Okay, hold on.
He's available for pets.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, which
I
large
think it's an
friend are you-
owl bear.
Oh, by the green thing?
Oh, that
By the
large
green
friend.
tent?
I'll just
Yeah.
put these. You see a group of 3 children who are looking up. You notice. Oh, let me open this up. So there's 3 of them, and they're looking up at the. Where did this go? Hold on. Sorry. Cider just closed. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, so there are 3 of them. You notice that one of the children is he looks to be the eldest of the group. He's an elf child. He seems to stick his chest out, especially at this person who's kind of stopping them from entering. And he definitely has a sour face, and he says, "Let us in!" And the person's like, "No, Gorm, I've been told specifically not to let you in, not without taking away your weapons," this person says. And there's a half-orc child who is the youngest. He is wielding a terrifying weapon, which is a large tree branch that he carries with 2 hands. It's about 2 sizes, 2 times the size of him. And he actually has a bucket on his head. And he looks forward and he says, "I need this. This is mine." And then the person in front is like, "No, I must absolutely confiscate these if you are to enter the festival." And lastly, a gnome child, somewhere between the other 2 kids, he looks forward and he points a finger and he just says, "The stink." And the person's like, no, it's fine. You don't need to resort to that. And he's like, "If you are to come in, I need to take all of these things from you." And they're just arguing back and forth.
So
Fenn just
Hey.
goes and grabs the weapon.
Oh, no. Go for it. I'm upset, though.
Are you?
Yes.
Sorry.
So you step forward. To go and grab the weapon. He jumps back, and the child known as the Stink readies something, and he holds something green, this small vial in his hands. And the person in front of the gate just raised her hand. She's like, "Everyone stop!" And she's like, "Do not step forward. The Stink will throw that. I promise you."
I want to roll sleight of hand on that one.
Go ahead.
Let me figure out where the fuck I put my character sheet. There we are. Oh, sleight of hand not as good as I'm not a rogue anymore. Oops.
So you step forward. Or,
How did I do?
11.
Ooh, pretty bad.
So you attempt to sneak forward, and she's like, the person stopping them from entering. She's like, no. She says, "Do not anger the do not anger the child. And she mentions and kind of points towards the stink. And she's like, I'm working a long shift today. I cannot smell like that all day.
Who are you, woman?
And then she's...
Are you the keeper of this dreadful fire statue thing?
And she says, no, I'm just the ticket counter. And she notices your Xyperium.
And you seek...
Sorry.
And you seek to separate a warrior from his weapon.
And she looks at me and she says, that's a stick.
Can you,
Do you hear this? I say to my sword,
You hear, Sir Gallo was definitely sleeping. He's like, sorry, what's good?
This woman wishes to separate a warrior from his weapon. She calls it a stick.
Oh, he gasps.
Hey, Barbarian, it's a party.
He gasps, and the Sir Gallo is just like, do you not know when trouble can strike? One must always keep a weapon on them.
Finally, one person expressing some wisdom. Well done, young man.
Sorry, go on, Sam.
Are there no spare pillows that you could just strap around the stick? I'm not trying to come in and tell you how to do your job.
The woman raises her eyebrow and she's like, that's actually not a bad idea. And then she points at the stink and she says quietly to all of you, she says, you must take his bombs away from him. The stink absolutely cannot come in on his own.
Well, I rolled a 14 to persuade Stink that, let's see, it has to be a pretty bad argument at 14.
No, you can just try.
Stink,
you can try.
Listen.
The stink.
Do you really need the stink? Do you really need those bombs? Haven't you got your own naturally produced smells that you can pull from at any time?
The stink. The stink.
Oh, he's a Pokemon.
That's all he says. And he raises his hand.
Why don't you hand those to me, and I'll hold on to them for you.
And he backs up. Kneecap suddenly steps forward, brandishing the giant stick in his hands, as if wielding a two-handed cleaver. He looks at the elf child, and he says, "Gorm, do you want me to mess him up?" Gorm's like, maybe you should. Maybe they ought to be told who's in charge around here.
I agree. Maybe they should.
Okay.
Can I cast hideous laughter on these children?
Okay, so real quick, the orc child, Kneecap, is his name. He dons his helmet. He grabs the bucket that was lopsided on top of his head and places it over. But he has no eye holes. And he just lets loose from underneath the bucket a terrifying scream. And he goes, this is him right here. And he goes, ah! And he runs the opposite direction because he can't see. And he just starts swinging his weapon just over there. And he's going for it a bit. And Gorm's like, Stink, or Kneecap, no, there. Never mind. And Gorm and the Stink look at everybody and they're just like, you're lucky our muscle has bad vision. And they're like, come on, boys.
You do? Bring me a warrior with flawless technique and no passion, and you will not have brought me a warrior at all. But bring me a warrior with that passion and I will shape his technique.
They've started walking away. As you're saying that. Sorry, Sam.
Hey, Gorm.
Gorm turns back.
Gorm, right?
Yeah. He turns back and he's like, yeah, that's me.
What's the play here?
And he's like,
can you just level it? What's the
and he
goal?
says,
What's the end
play
goal?
games. Duh.
They're literally games.
Yeah.
Right over there.
Yeah. He says, we're going to win them all. And there's not going to be any prizes for you or anyone else in this stinking town left.
we're not here for prizes. We're here to make sure the festival goes off without a hitch. Now, if you want to play the games and you don't want to ruin it for yourself and everyone else, why don't you give this person your weapons and your like chemical warfare bombs?
Roll a persuasion check for
And
me.
then persuasion. Oh, very much my strong suit here.
What is it? Ooh!
Oh,
hey,
ooh.
hey,
You know what? I
got-
guess
I
it
got
is your
their
strong
all
suit.
natural, baby.
There you go. Gorm steps forward and he's like, "Boys, get over here!" And they like, the Stink has to grab Kneecap by his shoulder and they walk over together. And they're just like, "All right, fine." And he says, Gorm's just like, "Let's say something bad does happen." And he leans in. He's like, "You're giving me a real weapon then. Deal?"
You know what? A real weapon?
And he says, "Yeah." And he's like, "I know who you are." And he whispers it. He says, "You're Xyperium, aren't you?" And Gorm like yeets off his helmet and he like throws it. He's like, "Oh my god, are you Xyperium?" And like the Stink like runs over and he's like, "The Stink!" And he's just shouting at you guys. And Kneecap's like, "Can you guys shoot lasers out of your eyes?" And Gorm's like, "Can you lift things really high?" And they just keep like barraging you with questions.
I have a hammer that I don't need anymore. It's about 8 feet long and weighs 100 pounds. I'd like to get down on one knee and offer it to the young half-orc.
Gotcha.
Amazing.
Barbarian, they're too young to marry.
That's judgmental of my culture.
So Kneecap steps forward. He looks at the big hammer and he just goes, "Whoa, big hammer."
Here, a real weapon for you to practice with. Perhaps start by trying to lift it.
And I'm gonna do a strength roll for him real quick. He's gonna be at a massive disadvantage. Yep. All right. He like steps forward and grabs it, and he's like, "Arr! And like he budges the end of it a little bit. But both
Lift with your legs.
But both Gorm and the Stink kind of help out. They're just like, "Oh boy," and they're so excited, and they actually begin just kind of dragging it off into the forest.
God,
And they're just like, "Thanks, mister." And they just back away.
Treat it well, boys, and it will treat you well as well.
And they just wander
sold.
off into the forest.
Just me and you now, eh, sword?
Sir Gallo is just like, "Ah, I see that I have joined an honorable man."
Honorable indeed. Now, let's see about this statue. Does it look flammable? Like, obviously flames
Yeah.
are coming out of it, but is the rest of it like paper mache?
No, it's not. It seems to be made out of some kind of like light metal. Some like
Unlucky.
We did not come here to start fires. We came here to prevent the fires. Although I can't believe they've got this thing just snorting fire into the
it's
air.
sort of get high into the air, to be fair. And the person, the ticket counter is just like, "Don't look at me. I'm not the festival company that they hired."
Cannot believe you gave those children a Chekhov's hammer.
Eluna is
Sure.
getting noticeably restless and just wants to like start on the mission.
Yeah.
So she just like
Lionel at this point is with Eluna. I think we're
so she
probably
squeezes
both
forward.
like we're both kind of doing that thing where we edge away from the group like slowly, but by making eye contact with everyone, like we're going in, right? We're going
Yeah.
in.
The
right?
ticket counter doesn't say anything about you not purchasing a ticket. You're obviously Xyperium, so you're able to get in without pay.
I walk through the river.
Nice. I love that. I love that for you.
That's great. Okay, so welcome to the Carnival. All around you, you are surrounded by just all sorts of sights and sounds. I mean, you see something called, like, Beefy's Beef. You see a sign for something called Tenta Kale. ale. You see a really hastily put together stall. It just says Craig's Fireworks, and Craig is spelled wrong. And they're selling all this.
How is it? This is the most important thing so far. How is Craig spelled wrong?
Craig?
How do you know it's spelled wrong? It could
Yes,
just be
I
an
need to know the
unusual
specific
spelling of the name.
Craig here.
Fireworks is with a U. It's Fireworks.
Good.
Yeah. And there's like a pit in the middle where there seems to be somebody who's like challenging the crowd to a fight. It's being very bombastic about it. All around you, just in this area alone, there's so much that's going on.
Lionel's actually going to go to the Tentic Ale booth.
There you go.
And try some beer real quick.
Oh, it's like tentacle.
Yeah.
It took me a bit.
There you go.
Some research on the competition.
So everybody, roll a perception check for me real quick.
I would never.
Ever. Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, snap. That's it's feast or famine for your boy here. That is wow.
Yeah, I know. I love how
that is a crit and a crit.
I know.
Fail.
I love that you roll both a crit and a crit fail. Okay, so luckily it's the crit. So you're all looking and kind of taking in the sights and sounds and stuff like that. And over here, there seems to be a game that is it's a giant mimic. It's a giant chest that mimics an actual mimic, but giant. And you notice that there are people that are kind of going in and reaching inside these magical boxes, and every now and then somebody's grabbing the wrong thing inside, and the entire what's it called? Mimic just kind of closes in and makes a ar 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 sound, and all the kids are like ah, and they're laughing and having fun. But you notice that while the enchantress who's running this game is kind of running it, Sam, you spot something. You're looking around and you catch very, very quickly. You catch. No, hold on. Where is it? You catch a child pickpocketing and just walking away, ever so smoothly.
Ooh, sweet, easy peasy. Hey, can I make a real quick athletics check to just pick that child up by the scruff of his neck? Do the literally yoink him right up?
Go ahead. Actually, this is gonna be dexterity because this child is
dexterity.
bolting.
Just straight up dexterity.
Yeah. Or actually, no, reflex. Sorry about that. Is there
reflex? I don't know what to roll for that. I can do just a it's acrobatics maybe. Is that what you want?
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool. Let's see how that goes. That's not the worst.
So you reach forward. I'm gonna say you didn't mess up enough that she caught you, but this child is definitely just kind of wandering through the crowd, kind of going in and out of people. Yeah.
How good of a look did I get at him? Can I call him out?
So you see that this child is kind of wearing very scraggly robes and shawls. So you actually didn't get a good look at their face, but you know that they're wearing just kind of mismatched, dirty clothes.
Did Eluna also notice this?
I'll say, Sam, if you want to signal to the others,
Yeah, I'm gonna signal to the others and give them a silent I'm gonna point at the kid. I'm not gonna say anything because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use Mind Link right now to telepathically to this child be give it back.
Ooh, yeah.
Spooky.
I forgot you're
as long as they're 40 feet
right?
away, they can't communicate back with me. But I can.
It's like their conscience.
Yeah, that's cool. She stops. This figure stops all of a sudden, and you notice that they have a coin purse in their left hand. And very simply, they just drop it and just continue walking.
Cool. Awesome. That is enough for me. I take that up and I return it to the person that I saw
Yep.
her steal it from, and I say, "You dropped this."
And she's like, "Oh, thank you." And she notices your armband. She's like, "Oh, and your Xyperium as well." And she says, "Do enjoy yourself." And she says, "Thank you so much. I appreciate it."
Can I catch up to
Eluna.
that kid?
Sorry, you're gonna say.
Also, do I have gold?
So I'm gonna say everyone has, let's say a stipend of like 250 gold, maybe.
I want to give that little kid some gold. They're in raggedy clothes and they just stole money.
Real quick,
Yeah.
Eluna, what were you gonna do as well?
Oh, no. You're good, you're good.
You actually notice that the child is kind of, she keeps walking, and she walks kind of towards, this mask area, the stall that sells masks. And it's called, I have this written down. The Mask Dance. It's the stall that's selling all these elaborate paper mache masks. And she stops in front of it right here. And she's kind of gazing up. She still looks a little, this child, is a, half-elf child, traces of drow in her. You notice that, aside from the really, like, scraggly, also, I'm gonna yeet this music for a second so we can listen to other things for the time being. Okay, alright. She, as you look at her face, like, her cheeks are kind of covered in dirt and grime a little bit, but kind of just looking at her, you can tell that she has traces of freckles underneath as well. Like, it's a interesting heritage of human and drow, but she walks around very barefoot, and very much just kind of, like I said, draped in all of these dirty clothes. How about we whoop it?
I get a 16 on performance to pull, like, I don't know, 50 gold out of her ear.
Ooh.
Whoa, that's a pretty penny there.
Ooh.
You know, I feel for a kid that hasn't got anything. And I kneel down and I'm like, "Hey, are you here with anybody?"
And she just very simply looks at you and she says, "No," and then she just grabs the gold. And she's just sizing you up, almost.
All right. A loner, I like it. What's your name?
And she says,
Let me roll some persuasion because I'm extremely charismatic. Oh, I'm not. Okay, well,
Unlucky.
I have a 7.
ooh, your rolls are just so bad right now.
They're bad.
She very simply says, "I don't have a name."
All right, no name. Well, I hope you get some, I don't know, go get yourself a candy apple or something. I hope you have fun today.
She starts to walk away, and then she kind of notices this over here.
It's the owlbear that I love.
It's the large.
And you hear her
friend.
go, "Whoa." And then she turns towards you and she says, "What's that?"
I think it's an owlbear, but I'm not sure. Let's go check it out.
Side note, Eluna hobbled over there as well
Yeah.
because she was very interested in the cute animal.
So welcome to Eckert's Small Critters. You notice that there is indeed an owl bear just kind of hanging out with a. If you zoom in enough, you will see a pet me sign. There is an animal handler.
Already
There's an
petting.
animal handler here who steps forward, and he's like, "Ah, yes, I see you're already just going to town." Oops. And he
I mean, how could I not? Look at this friend.
says his name's Eckert.
Eckert owns the shop? You telling me that this owlbear owns all of this?
And he laughs and he says, "Oh, no. It's just a tale we tell that all of the small critters," and he motions towards the inside of the tent. You see all sorts of, like, birds and mice and all these, like, interesting exotic animals, all very small, mind you. Some hummingbirds, stuff like that. the handler says, "Oh, the joke is that Eckert is the one who won them over with his charm. I mean, just look at him." And as he says that, the owlbear just starts snoring.
Can I roll an animal handling
Yes.
roll, and then if it goes well, can I tell you what I was
Yes.
thinking? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I got 2 crits.
Oh my god, that's 2020, baby.
See in 2020.
Let's go.
I think you own Eckert now.
Oh
I
my
think he
God.
belongs to you.
Yeah.
So I'm bummed that I didn't say the thing prior, but Eluna just like has a very soft spot for cute animals and like literally jumps over and hugs it and just like goes to cuddle the like big thing. So she like jumps on it and just like gives it a big hug to cuddle with it. And like she's like a druid and like from the wild, so she knows. So she like hopes that the animal will respond well.
So Eckert like stops snoring, and he like raises an eye at you, and then he actually stands up, and you notice that he is giant. He is massive. And for a second, both of his giant arms reach out, and you get a little bit worried because he raises them kind of high. You notice he does have claws.
Before he does that, can Eluna just go and hug him?
But here's the thing. You go in, and he also goes in for a hug. And you both hug,
Oh.
and it's a great hug. It is one of the best hugs, and you just hear him, like, making happy noises. And it is...
So how big is he like when he's sitting?
So he is, when he's sitting down, he's about, like, 6 feet up. So he's tall. And then when he's standing, he's easily, I mean, just towers above all of you. So the hug that you're getting, you feel very small right now. You're just being kind of enveloped in this hug.
Post hug, and he like sits back down. Can I just climb up on him and just like snuggle?
Yeah. Oh, and he lets you. And the handler's like, "Wow, I have not seen Eckert like someone that much."
He's a cute boy.
He's just like, "Arr, arr, arr," just kind of mumbling to himself. The child actually, Eluna, you feel a tug on your sleeve, and the child, wearing the rags, kind of is tugging at your shoulder, right at your sleeve, and she says, "Can I come up?"
Sure. He's friendly. And so she puts out her hand and helps the child.
So she climbs up.
While like
Yeah.
also petting petting Eckert.
She
with
climbs
her
up
other
and
hand,
just
trying to keep him, like,
sits
calm.
on his head, on Eckert's head, and Eckert doesn't seem to mind at all. And she actually, boy, roll a perception check for me.
Sure. Bad roll, but
She mumbled something under her breath.
That bad.
I mean, I was right there. I was listening.
Oh, yeah,
Let me
yeah.
see if I perceive anything. Hell yeah, I do.
Yeah. The child says, "I can get back in with this."
Oh.
So Eluna is still distracted by the fuzzy and the happy. So I'll let you handle the hearing what the girl said.
I'm like waving out of the, like I'm behind the kid and I'm like waving at Eluna like, it's the kid from Shaul. Shit.
Hi. So Eluna just like suddenly notices and she's like, "Oh, hi. What's your name?"
And she says, she sighs a bit. She says, "My name's Iridia."
Iridia. I think we met your parent. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. She says,
I think we met your parents on the way
she
in.
says, "Oh, is he mad at me?"
No, he seemed to speak very highly of you, and he said that you were great and smart and cool.
She kind of grumbles to herself, and she's like, kind of grumbles to herself, and she says, "If I was so cool, I would have." She says, "If I was so cool, I wouldn't have gotten kicked out of the mice."
I heard about that actually from word on the street. She like thinks about the kid when she said, "No, I'm gonna keep your secret," and so she stops herself and she's like, "From yeah, word on the street is you got kicked out. Is everything okay? What happened?"
And she says, "Gorm is just jealous. He's a bud, she says. He's
Oh, I remember meeting Gorm earlier. He is a bug.
she says, he was just jealous and he kicked me out.
What was he jealous of?
And she just says, she's jealous of my dad, I think.
Can I do like a roll to like look into this
Yeah.
more?
So insight is going to be your best roll here.
Cool. Ooh.
Oh, dang.
Bloody, these rolls. Like, roll 22.
Roll.
Aluna,
while usually awkward as fuck, is doing a great job right now.
Yeah.
Aluna gets on with children and no one else.
Yeah.
Children and animals.
Yeah, children and animals.
Yeah, I mean that's
Do
honestly
worse.
her specialty, right?
Do worse.
The she kind of or you get the sense that she's hiding something. She's not telling you something.
She looks the girl in the eye, which is not a usual thing. And Eluna has, very pretty sort of pinkish, bright, like pinkish greenish eyes. And she looks the girl in the eyes, and she's like, "Is there something that you want to talk about?"
And she just says no, and she's very curt with you. All of a sudden, like her friendly attitude is just gone. She says no. All of a sudden, Barb, you because you're standing right over here. Sir Gallo, you hear his voice and he says, "Incoming!" Do a dexterity saving throw for me.
Oh no, I know it's coming.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh, good.
Decent save.
So
I might have advantage on that for what it's worth, but I probably don't need it.
you don't. So you successfully dodge out of the way as a small vial of something flies directly past you.
Oh no!
And all of a sudden, this vial lands right on Eckert's face and breaks. And all of a sudden, all of you just get drenched in this gas. And it is the worst thing you've ever smelled. Everyone but Jorbs, everyone but Barb, roll a Constitution saving throw for me.
Worse than the sulfur pits.
Mm-hmm.
A
Where is
child.
oh, there
In
it is.
Kazakh
Oh,
door.
that's not gonna do one
Oh,
bit, is it?
dear. We're such a stinky bunch.
Oh boy.